Greetings, Light Tribe. Janine Palmer here, Spirit Silver Moon. To do a video about maybe fears, fear, misperceptions, how things fuel each other. I was just going to use a little analogy that I've used a few times in trying to explain this, and then I'm going to read a few quotes from a couple of different people. So today someone did a really interesting and deeply involved post on occult, okay? And people who are true seekers who have studied will understand a deeper meaning here without being fearful. So I shared it with someone who I have in-depth conversations with who is Christian, and she says, oh no, that's of the devil. Well, some people think that it means hidden, things that are hidden. It means supernatural and mystic, okay? Now, mystical is going to be the deeper spiritual part of things, okay? And supernatural, some people are so afraid of that, even though we all have gifts that are supernatural, knowing, intuition. That the church tried to make us fearful of thousands of years ago, hundreds, thousands of years ago. Like that's something to be squashed and hidden and not acknowledged and feared, supernatural. People have had loved ones who have passed away, and then suddenly they get a call on their phone from that person, even when the phone isn't even active. Things happen that can't be explained, and they don't need to be feared, okay? So we're surrounded by the supernatural. It's part of us. Okay, and then there's those of us who have been programmed to fear it, to think it's of the devil. The devil. So it's all about light and shadow here, isn't it? Light and dark and shadow. And so there's things within us that test us, that we need to overcome, that we need to rise above and overcome and face fears and challenges, including parts of our ego or how our ego tests us. So that's where the devil is. It's not something necessarily outside of ourselves to be feared, okay? It's what we battle within. So I was using an analogy about perspectives because misperception rules this world. And so many people who want to defend their dogma to the death don't even know that they might be following something that's misperceived or incomplete truths, inaccuracies. Just like if you study, you'll discover that Christianity is based off of mystery school teachings, and most people don't know that who follow Christianity. What's mystery school? The Egyptian mystery schools, where they say Jesus studied, and Mary Magdalene, because there were sacred truths that they only wanted shared with people who were spiritually ready to receive and understand and honor them, okay? And that's why Christ spoke, or about why Jesus spoke in parables. So it's amazing what people follow on this planet, and they don't even really know what they follow or why. They just adopt somebody else's belief system or interpretation of something. And to the degree that they understand it, then they think they have to fight to defend it, even though truth doesn't need to be defended. What you know, no one can take from you. And what you know might be different than what you believe. Okay, so that's why I do these little videos sometimes, either for energy healing, for the collective on whatever level that's needed, ancestrally and all other ways, and or rising above and moving beyond dogma and or stuckness, whatever that is or isn't. It's up to the individual to find out. So I wanted to share some quotes by a couple different people. Okay, this is Manly P. Hall. It doesn't appear to have occurred to many theologians that Jesus was a mystic, and he spoke in the mystical sense. He spoke and taught about matters which were beyond the experience of many people and beyond the understanding of most people. Jesus' lessons in terms of mystical realization are interpreted literally by a misunderstanding world. Okay, here's Manly P. Hall again. A Christian thinker should not confuse Jesus of Nazareth with the Christ of modern churches. The present state of Christendom is undeniably and woefully lacking in almost all of those virtues taught by the Master Jesus. Jesus did state that those who claim to follow him should do his works. In other words, they should live those truths he taught them. But Christian society doesn't appear to be founded on Christian ethics after all. Christ said, "To love ye one another." However, Christian nations do not love one another. That is painfully obvious. Here's another one by Manly P. Hall. Many modern-day Christians are not likely aware that in present translation of the Old and New Testaments, there are numerous mistakes due to the fact that the translators weren't spiritually competent to accurately interpret the secret mystery teachings of the Hebrew and Greek languages. Christianity was or is basically a mystery school. However, most of its adherents don't understand it enough to recognize the secrets behind the allegories and parables, which were a critical part of the dogma. Okay, this next one's by White Eagle, Ascended Master. Our view of reality becomes skewed because all incoming information risks becoming contaminated by our insecurities, fear, greed, and self-centeredness. Those who have forgotten who they are might believe that there's an all-powerful being who lives outside of them. Those who remember who they are know that there's an all-powerful being within them. We are here to enable the divine purpose of God / the universe to unfold. That is how important we are. Next time you look into the mirror, be sure you like what you see. Be mindful that you are important in God's eyes. While you are having a good look at yourself, ask God if you are one with his purpose for your life. And I still haven't even gotten to my little analogy that I wanted to use about we do not have pure knowledge here. So about interpretation and misinterpretations, or perceptions and misperceptions. So the one I like to use is like, if somebody come up, this is a little story. So if Joe said, "Oh, that Mary's such a jerk. She kicked the neighbor's cat. I saw her kick the neighbor's cat. That's just horrible." And then, you're thinking, well, so Mary just must be horrible for her to kick a cat. So we make a judgment against someone, where we adopt someone else's perception against something, and then we hold something against someone else. It happens all the time. It's so nasty. And then more information comes to light. Our perspective should always be changing, okay, with new information. Okay, we never know everything. So then George comes up to the conversation where they're bad-mouthing Mary for kicking the cat. And George says, "Oh no, there was a dog that came up and was just about to attack the cat, and Mary kicked it out of the way. So Mary saved the cat. She didn't harm it." So maybe where there was a hedge or something, and so Joe's viewpoint couldn't see that the cat was about to get attacked, but George's viewpoint could see something completely different. So then when more information comes to light, it changes our perspective of something. Like, oh, okay, well now I guess I don't have to think that Mary's a jerk because Joe initially thought she was a jerk, because he only saw part of something, okay? From his limited perspective, that's what he saw. And so that was his understanding of what he saw, but he didn't see the whole picture, as none of us do. We never know everything about any situation or any person. That's why our intuition's so important. That's our gift. Our supernatural gift of intuition. What do I feel about this person and their energy? Do they seem like they're a good person? Or do I feel like they're not? Okay. So that supernatural intuition, God's gift to us, might be way more true than scriptures sometimes, some of them, or I don't know, anything that we read, okay, that's meant to be spiritually or metaphorically understood, but certain extremist groups tweak it. They take stuff so far to the extreme that they strip away the initial meaning of it, and it's just a shell of what it was. So extremism can come from many sources in many ways in our ideologies as something of taking it too far, and that usually comes from ego and unhealed wounds. Okay, so this little video is just about misperceptions, okay, and extremism, and that we never know everything because people like to be in their little dogmatic boxes because, okay, this is explains it, now I have all the answers, so now I don't have to be fearful, so now I can be safe in my ignorance, right? We should always be open to new knowledge and wisdom coming in, which is always going to be changing our perspectives. If we think that it's only the way we think it's supposed to be and our perspectives aren't changing, that is called stuckness, and can be also referred to as a cell or shackles or chains or illusion. Can be referred to as many things. So just be aware that perceptions or perspectives should always be changing as we allow new knowledge and wisdom to come in. We should always be adding to our knowledge base. Peace.